Okay, next let's add our images from iPhoto to our podcast. Look over to the right at the media browser. You should be on the Photos tab. If you're not on that, go ahead and click on it, and then look at the scroll bar right below that. Where it says Events, go ahead and change that to the name of the album that you created in iPhoto. Select that album name and that will bring up your images or your photos in that media browser pane on the right side. The next thing that you want to do is drag the first image that you want to use out into the podcast track at the top of the podcast. When you see the little green plus sign, then you can go ahead and drop that image and let it go. You may need to grab this photo or image and drag it to the left so that it lines up with the left end of the recording track. The next thing that you want to do is click on the play button and listen to your recording until you hear the point where you want to insert the second image. At that point, go ahead and click on the play button again or push the space bar to pause or stop the recording.
There once was a little dog named Dixie who lived at the Animal Humane Society.
Alright, so maybe at this point I want to grab my next photo and I'll drag that out next to that playhead and I will let it go at that point. And it's going to overlap that first photo, and you're going to repeat this same process. Continue clicking on the play button until you hear the point where you want to drag and drop your next photo.
No one knew how she got there or where she had lived before.
Go ahead and grab and drag out your next photo and drop it right next to that playhead, and it will keep overlapping the photo before and replacing it.
She really wanted to find a new family to live with and waited every day for someone to pick her.
You can drag these images to the left or to the right if you're not happy with where they're placed, so you can move them around a little bit.
One day someone came to see me.
Alright, and at this point maybe I've decided that I really wanted these images to appear more quickly, so I can go back and I can shorten up the amount of time that each image is showing by dragging the next image to the left a little bit. You can also use those breaks or segments in the recording track as a visual cue as well as to where you broke up the chunks of your story. And you'll continue this process until you have placed all of your images that you want to use at the appropriate places in the podcast track at the top. You'll want to make sure that your last image doesn't extend beyond the end of the audio track. In order to fix this, just go to the end of the photo, hover your mouse over the right side, and drag the photo end back toward the left until you line up the end of the photo with the end of the audio, like that. At this point, go ahead and go up to File, Save, and save your file again. Your enhanced podcast is now just about finished.